guys, welcome back. This week I'm taking a look at the Benelli Montefeltro. Now, you guys know I own an M2. I'm a big fan of the Benelli inertia-driven actions, and I think of them as the kind of Toyota Hilux of semi-auto shotguns. Unburstable reliability, slightly aspirational for some shooters, but absolutely fantastic guns. And the Montefeltro is their new entry-level shotgun. The step up from this would be an M2 Comfortech, which comes with some extra bits and bobs we'll discuss. But to be honest, I think there are some nice touches on the Montefeltro that make it a really, really interesting buy at, just north of 1,100 quid. We'll do the oily bits as usual. 28-inch barrels on this. It's blued. We've got a 7mm non-tapered rib, red front bead, multi-choked, 18.4 board, 3-inch chamber, superior steel proofed. One of the key differences between this and the M2 is the length of the forend. It's actually the same as you get on a Super Sport, which is a 12-inch as opposed to a 9-inch forend. Ergo has this kind of nice kind of ridges in it that means wherever you hold the gun, you're going to find somewhere to index on it, which is quite a nice piece of design. And it has moulded into a checkering pattern, which gives a nice steady grip. Nice and slim in the forend, which is another key feature of the M2 series. If you take the forend off, you'll see that there is nout underneath. There are no working parts, no gas system. It is simple, and very, very easy to clean. All you have to do is clean the barrel. Standard nut that holds the forend on. Coming back into the action, this is where we see some differences from the M2. We've got a larger and more comfortable bolt release, which is actually really nice to use. And then the bolt handle itself is rounded and a bit more sort of forgiving to your little finger or to whichever bit of your anatomy you're using to cock the gun. The loading gate is a little bit bigger and has a radius at the front here, so you can get your thumb in to really finish off pushing that cartridge home. And there is a channel cut into the front of the trigger guard here, so that when you are kind of feeding cartridges in, it kind of naturally slides down the front of the trigger guard. It's a nice touch. Safety is here behind the trigger. Now, it's a thing, I genuinely think that the safety position on the A400 series guns, Beretta series generally, is better here at the front of the trigger guard. But at the end of the day, when the gun's safe, you can feel it under your base knuckle here, and it's easy to knock it off. I just prefer it here where my finger sits when I'm not in use, if you know what I mean, and I can very easily knock it off on a Beretta. That said, I own an M2, no complaints. Coming back, the composite stock has a nice pistol grip, no palm swell to speak of, very slim. You get the shim system so that you can change the angle. But this being the base model, there's no adjustable comb. You can, of course, buy spacers and new pads to make this longer. It is 14.25 out of the box, which is too short for me. I have a spacer in mine that takes it up 3/4 of an inch to 15. We've got sling swivel mounting points fore and aft, so you can mount a sling. And all in, the gun weighs just under 7 pounds, 612 I think I weighed it at. But it is extremely nimble, as you would expect. Trigger pulls are absolutely fine. And in terms of operation, I've had no problems with it shooting a variety of cartridges. I shoot, well, pretty much everything. I've had game loads through mine down to sort of 27 and 24 gram clay loads, and it eats it no problem at all. This gun, I've only shot 28s through, to be fair, but I can't see any reason why it would be any different. The action, the working parts are identical. As I said, the Hilux of shotguns, I think it's a really interesting comparison. Ask any gamekeeper, they're going to have one of these, and I really do think that the Benelli action is unburstable for what it is. 1,100 quid versus 14 for the Comfortech. The Comfortech, you do get an adjustable comb with a kind of a rubber material that's a little bit more forgiving on the face if you're shooting heavy loads, and you can, of course, lift it up. And a slightly different shaped recoil pad, which is a bit nicer to shoot. And, of course, this being my M2, the gun that's no longer made, this shape of the forend is different on the M2. But, again, I mean, we're really splitting hairs in terms of differences. I think this is a lot of gun for the money, and I would tend to think this is going to be a good seller this year for people that are getting onto that kind of Benelli ecosystem. If you want inertia, if you want that cleanliness, if you want the barrel coating that's really, really resistant to corrosion, they are an absolutely superb bit of kit. Treat them mean and they still keep running. They are fantastic guns. Guys, thanks very much for tuning in. Hope you've enjoyed it. See you next time.